Good afternoon. Stacey here, tagging some friends. Hi, Casey. Hey, how are you? What's up, Laura? Good to see you. Hey, Michael. Good to see you. Hi, Debbie. Welcome. Glad you joined. Gonna let a few people pop in. I'm glad to see Casey here. She's going to be working with me a little bit today on this live video this morning, or I'm sorry, this afternoon. I need to catch up. Hey, Kristen, it's great to see you. Hello in Maryland. Really good to see you. Waiting for a few more people to sign on. And this morning, I don't know why I keep calling this morning. I think I'm just with everybody, confused about the day of the week, what time it is, and this is just to be expected. And if we can allow that to happen, that's fine. I think that's probably our best bet, is to accept that we might be a little bit disoriented these days, since things are very different. Today, what I want to do is a couple of things, similar to previous videos. One thing I want to do is I want to talk about SalusCare. As a good steward of the organization, I want to tell you what we're doing at SalusCare, how we're doing business in a very different way, that we're open, we're seeing new patients, we're seeing current patients. I want to talk to you about that. And then, as we've done in some previous videos, we've had the opportunity to talk about some techniques, some skills that you can use during this time to be more mindful, to be more present, to help to manage some of the anxiety, the worry, fear, and even some of the isolation that you might be experiencing right now. And these skills are really quick, easy, something you can implement right away that doesn't take a lot of work on your part. I know that everybody has got all kinds of responsibilities and things that they're doing these days. So I wanted to give you something that you can try and you can use. It is going to be really beneficial to you. So first, let me start with this. One, if you are watching this video, wonderful. Hi, Missy, how are you? I'm glad to have you watching it. Hey, Sandra. Welcome to the video, and if you wouldn't mind sharing it, that would be wonderful, because hopefully the skills that I share and some of the information may be relevant to other people as well. So I'm counting on you to do that. So first I'm going to start with talking about SalusCare, and then I'm going to talk about some of the other skills and techniques I want to introduce you to. So if you don't know me, I'm Stacey Cook. I am the Chief Executive Officer at SalusCare, and I'm also a licensed clinical social worker. So as a good steward of the organization, I'm going to start with company business and what we're doing and how we're doing it. And then I'm going to talk to you about the skills and techniques, because as a social worker, it's my responsibility to share with you some tools that you can use and you can share with others, most importantly. Sharing is a beautiful thing. So let me start with SalusCare. Casey, who I work with, Casey Stevens, hey Jess, she's on as well with me, and she's going to help me through this process by dropping some links for you that you can share. So first of all, I want to tell you, we are very much open for business at SalusCare. Something we are doing is the way we do business. We're doing it a little differently. We've moved our outpatient psychiatry, therapy, and community-based services to a remote status. And what does that mean exactly? Well, it means we're using technology, Zoom, and we're using the phone to provide psychiatry services, therapy services, and community-based services with our patients. We're doing this to reduce our staff footprint and to protect patients, to keep them off campus and in a safe environment. And we're doing it also so that the staff and the patients who have to come on campus to receive services can do that safely. It's our job, hey Leslie, to work to mitigate the effects of COVID-19, and that's what we're doing. So our acute care units, our crisis units, kids, adults, we're accepting patients as we typically would every day. In fact, we serve almost 300 patients a month. Detoxification is accepting patient assessments by appointment. And also in our residential programs, we're accepting referrals that are coming from another detoxification unit or the hospital where we can be sure that someone has medical clearance and they're safe to come into a residential setting. So, hey Brandy, if you're interested in coming to see us as a new patient or even as an established patient, I want to tell you how you can do that. I'm going to show you, and first of all, this is the first time in 3 videos that I can actually put something up to the screen and you can see it the right way. Thank you, Casey Stevens, who's on. This is her doing. So if you need us, you can go to our website listed here. And all you got to do is follow SalusCare and then click Treatment Services. Click either Adults or Youth. Thank you, Casey. I'm proud of myself too. And then click Care Connection. And Casey's going to drop a link for you. What this is going to do for you is something really cool, really easy. Don't be afraid. It's a piece of cake. The link is down below. Casey just dropped it for you. What you can do is if you're interested in seeing us, go here, do this, and you can actually fill paperwork out online. And then what happens is it's sent to someone in our welcome center, and a customer representative or someone will call you and actually complete an intake and assessment, I know, thank you, Laura, over the phone. Or what you can do is you can give us a call at 275-3222, and we'll be able to talk to you. We'll be able to help you access services. Don't be afraid. I don't want you to be afraid of the technology. First of all, if I can use Zoom, I promise you anyone can. And that's the technology that we're using. It's a simple 1 click from the App Store. It's free. And then you have access to all sorts of services. Hey, Jenny. Zoom is a piece of cake, I promise you. And you're not going to be alone. We're going to walk you through the process. So when you're ready to accept services and engage with a provider this way or by calling us at 275-3222, we're going to walk you through the whole process. I promise you, we're not going to leave you hanging out there. And if something happens and you don't have technology, guess what? That's okay. If you have a phone, we can still work with you. And something else I wanted to share with you is we have free community groups, Tuesday and Friday. Casey will also drop a link for our free community groups. Here's the cool thing about free. They're free if I didn't mention it. Hey, Kate, the cool thing about the free groups is you don't have to be a patient. Not at all. You don't have to have a dime to pay for it. All you do is follow our link or go to our Facebook page and you're going to find out exactly what we're offering. If you need help in dealing with isolation, feeling depressed, feeling alone, feeling stressed, and you just want to connect, this is the way to do it. Again, you do not have to be a patient. There's a master's level therapist who's going to be present and who's going to paint this beautiful picture and this beautiful environment for you to get very comfortable and be able to connect. Remember, we talked about how important that is. Additionally, we have free parenting groups as well. These groups, again, Casey dropped a link. You can click on the link, share the link, go to our Facebook page, and Mondays and Wednesdays, Laura, who's one of the clinicians, she's on right now, and she's been working with children, families for years. Everybody in our therapy department, I promise you, it doesn't matter who you work with, you're going to get years and years of experience. These clinicians are well educated with master's degrees, many of them with licenses, and they're great. I would go to them, and occasionally I do, by the way. So again, this is free. This is for parents to connect. We know that parents are home with their kids, homeschooling their children, and this is a way to get some support, get ideas, and get tools, and you'll be amazed the tool that you are able to gather. So link down below, go to our Facebook page, and you can access services. How beautiful is that? So here we are in a situation that is very similar to the situation that existed when I spoke to you last week, right? We're continuing to exist in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of a crisis. You know, and the message has been essentially that as humans, as a population, we need to slow down. I mean, look at the changes and look at our environment. Businesses have slowed significantly, and sadly, even some have shuttered. Our routines as we know them or we're familiar with have changed in huge ways. Many of us, hey Bernie, many of us are working from home and we're being asked to slow down, not just figuratively or literally, but figuratively. We need to slow down our minds. We need to slow down what we're feeling and learn to accept and allow the now to happen and accept the situation that we currently have. And I realize that may sound like a lot, but we can either accept or we can fight it. And those have two different outcomes, very different feelings. And I want to talk a little bit about that today, about how do we slow down and how do we allow when we're feeling fear, anxiety, worry, frustration. Some folks have lost their jobs and they're wondering how to pay bills. So how do you slow down? How do you get to that point of allowing when it feels so other than? Well, I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to give you a couple of skills that you can take with you. And again, this is something that you can introduce yourself to and to others very quickly. It's not going to take a lot of time. It's not going to take a lot of work. And if you're interested, do it. If you're not, join a free group and one of our clinicians will be happy to share even more with you. But somebody mentioned to me the other day, I'm feeling far more reactive and I'm feeling far more aggressive and I'm even behaving and acting in ways that's out of character for me. And one, I want to tell you that it's normal for that to happen. Two, I also want to add a little science behind it, and you can science check me if you want to at the end of this video. There is a location in our brain where the amygdala lives. The amygdala, I love to say it. It has a very catchy name. But it has a lot of power, this amygdala, and it's responsible for processing emotion, particularly negative emotion, and detecting threat. And what does the amygdala do? Well, it does some pretty amazing things. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're walking down the street or you're in your home or you're somewhere and somebody's come up behind you and they scare the living daylights out of you. Immediately your palms sweat, your heart rate picks up, you jump out of your skin. You may even trip, you may even hit the person, you may yell. And all of these things are happening almost as if they're outside of your consciousness. And you know what? It's very reflexive, and they kind of are outside of your consciousness. And it can lead to you acting aggressively and out of character, particularly if that amygdala is overreactive. Now, I don't mean this to sound hopeless. I mean to drop a little science. There's a way for you to dampen that amygdala, right? We've been talking about the ability that we have to manage our internal environment, even though we have no control over the external. What's really important is that we do have the ability to manage our thoughts and then the resultant feeling. So that's what I want to talk to you about today, in light of what you might be feeling. Discomfort, a lot of anxiety or a little anxiety. Maybe you're even having difficulty focusing. I want to offer you something. If you have a thought, a concept, or a problem that is consuming a lot of space in your mind, you're ruminating about it, you may be even catastrophizing about it and experiencing a great deal of anxiety. I want to show you something that you can do that's really, really simple. Again, doesn't need to take a lot of time, and it's going to build on some things that we talked about in previous videos. So, if you can see this, right in the middle is, and I didn't draw this because if I did, you would never be able to read it. I have terrible handwriting. You don't have to have a special worksheet. You can have a blank piece of paper and do this. So what you want to do is in the middle of your paper is put whatever it is that's consuming space. It could be a problem with a relationship. It could be a project that you're working on and you can't get through it. It could be a really negative exchange that you had with your kids. It could be many things. It could be fear, anxiety about COVID. Put it right here, write it down. And then what you want to do, if you see the spokes that are sort of around the circle, what you want to do is brainstorm. Let your brain purge all of the thoughts relative to that problem, concept, ruminating thought, whatever it is. Just list them. Take some time to do this. You might be able to do it in 3, 5, 10 minutes, or for some it may take longer. It doesn't matter. What I'm asking you to do is to take your time and really purge your brain. And I've listed some things. You might feel, I can't think clearly, I'm angry, I can't stand my kids, I can't stand my partner, I hate myself. You're putting it on a piece of paper. Be honest, be transparent with the process. So you're going to list out what your experience. You're going to purge your brain. And then what you're going to do is you're going to set it aside. And then you're going to take out a completely blank piece of paper. Again, it doesn't have to look like this. It can be completely blank. And you're going to write that original problem, whatever you're ruminating about, situation, again, in that circle. And then you're going to set it down. And you're going to do something that we did on the last video. So you're going to start with being in a calm, if you can, quiet state, a quiet place. And what you want to do is see 3 to 5 things. Identify what you see. I see the mirror over on the wall. I see the door in the bedroom. I see pieces of paper in front of me. It could be 3 things, it could be 5 things, it can be 100 things. You can hear more about this on the first video I put out. Hey Tess. And then what you want to do is 3 to 5 things that you hear. Maybe you hear the air conditioning running in the background. Perhaps you hear birds outside. You may hear lawnmowers outside of your house. Whatever you hear, try to identify 3 to 5. If it's only 2 or it's 1 or it's 100, perfect. And then you want to identify what you are feeling. For instance, I'm sitting on a chair. I can feel my bottom on the chair, my hands on my lap, my feet on the floor. If you have more, keep doing it. So what we've been doing is seeing, hearing, and feeling in very focused ways, right? We've been focusing on 3, 4, 5, 10 things. Now what I want you to do is take this a little bit further. And I want you to go back through that process of seeing, hearing, and feeling, but broadening your focus. And here's what I mean. Instead of me seeing the door, the mirror, and the papers in front of me, I'm going to soften my gaze, broaden the view, and I'm going to allow my eyes to take in the environment as a whole. Meaning I'm not focusing on any 1, 2, 3, or anything really. I'm allowing a broad view. And you want to do the same with hearing. Instead of focusing on the lawnmower or the birds or water running or whatever it might be, I want you to listen to all of that. All of it. Take it all in without really focusing. And don't get frustrated if you do tend to focus on a noise. Maybe something's really loud for you. And if it is, that's fine. But just allow that broadening and blossoming of seeing, hearing, and now same with feeling. So with feeling, instead of me focusing on the chair that I'm sitting in, my bottom on the chair, my hands on my lap, what I'm going to do is feel broadly, feel in general. And again, you might have a pain somewhere that you're focusing on. That's okay. Let the thought come, let the feeling go, and go back to that broadness. Here's the idea. As you're going through seeing, feeling, and hearing, I want you to notice what's happening. I'm not going to tell you what that is because I don't know what it'll be for you. But there's a noticing that should be happening. And just listen to your body. Allow things to sort of quiet in your mind. And then what you want to do is you want to go back to that blank piece of paper that has that problem, that thing that's taking up space in your mind. And then you want to go through the brainstorming process again and see what happens. And then you're going to want to compare the before and the after. I'm not going to lead you, and I'm not going to tell you what's going to happen, but I want you to try it. And again, this can take 3 to 5 minutes. It can take 10 minutes. It's going to take the time that you need to walk through the process. So what it's doing is it's taking the first video and it's expanding on it just a little bit so that you can experience more of the grounding of the presence, the dampening of the amygdala that we talked about. This is a way for us to take internal control of our internal environment. As the external world exists and does what it's going to do, accepting that we don't have control of it, but we can control what's going on internally is huge. It's a tool for you. It's very empowering, and it's going to help us to get through this very challenging time. And not only with issues related to COVID, but if you suffer with anxiety or depression, or your thoughts tend to become very quick, racing, and confused, this is an opportunity for you to be able to slow that process down and to get some clarity, to get some calm, and to get some peace. And isn't that something that we need? Whether it's now, 6 months in the future, a year from now. So do me a favor. Give it a try. Let me know how it goes. Share this video. It's really important that as a community, as a world, that we take care of each other right now. We're getting a very different message as of late that there isn't any one of us independently that's going to get through this. We have to rely on the larger group of us, the collective we of us. And also, as I mention every video, and I just have to, and thank you for bearing with me, something else that we can do when in doubt, if you forget all of the skills available to you, if you don't know what else to do, 1, just be present. 2, just be kind. And 3, act out of love. If we can share more love, hey Heidi, and we can share more kindness, this is critical in getting us through this challenging time. And please connect. Know how important it is that since our lives have changed so drastically, we've lost that physical connection with the rest of the community, with many of our friends, and even for some with our families. As humans, we need this connection. We thrive from this connection. We grow from it. There's still opportunity for us to connect over social media, connect over Zoom, FaceTime, Skype. I'm asking you to please do that. If you haven't heard from a friend in a long time, pick up the phone and reach out and arrange a FaceTime call or a regular phone call. What's important is that we do connect and we share love and we share kindness. This is what we need to get through this. So that's what I have for today. If you have any questions for me, hey Madison, if you have any questions for me, ask. And I ask you again to please share this video. There's a great tool. I think it's going to be, at the very least, helpful to a couple of people. And if all of us can just share it, and it's going to land exactly where it needs to land, in the hands of the right people or persons. So again, Stacey with SalusCare, we are very much open, providing services in a very different way, very much remotely, but psychiatric services, therapy services, community-based services can be accessed through Zoom. And again, we're not going to leave current patients or new patients hanging. We're going to walk you through the process. We're going to take care of you remotely, safely, and quickly All you have to do is, let me go through the 85 pieces of paper I have sitting here. Hey Hong, how are you? Is go to our website, follow the link. There's a link in the comments down below. Down below. Or go to our Facebook page, and we're going to take care of you, again, in a very different way, but don't be afraid of the technology. Remember, as I said before, if I can use the technology, anybody can. And we're not going to leave you hanging. We're going to walk you through it. We're going to show you how to use it, and we're going to make sure that you're comfortable with it. And if you need emergency services, the Children's Crisis Unit, the Adult Crisis Unit, or detoxification, call us, 275-3222. We're doing business in those program areas, for the most part, as usual, but in some of those program areas, we're being very careful about how we admit patients relative to where they're coming from, so that we can keep the rest of the milieu safe. So to all of you today who took the time to join me, I appreciate you. I'm sending love to all of you, and I hope you'll send and share love as well. It was good talking to you, and let me know if you have any questions for me. I'd be happy to answer them. And go visit our SalusCare Facebook page. Thank you very much. Have a beautiful weekend. I love you all. See you soon.